This video, I will be teaching you something very amazing. Many of my subscribers have literally gained hundreds of rating points just by watching a single YouTube video and learning the strategy that I am going to teach you here. So make sure that you really watch the entire video and that you don't skip anything. What I am going to teach you here is a completely new way of playing chess. A completely new way of looking at the board and finding the best moves, and this strategy works incredibly well. So what are we going to do? We are going to try something new. We will not be attacking our opponent, no. Instead, we are going to use a strategy that focuses on two key things. Number one, blunder prevention. We have to do anything that we can, everything that we can, basically, to make sure that we don't blunder at all. The second thing we are going to do is we are going to be on the lookout to see if our opponent just blundered. You can use this strategy with white, you can use this strategy with black, and it doesn't matter what opening you play, which is great. That means that basically the next game that you play after watching this video, you can instantly start using this strategy. What I will be doing is I will be playing the Pegasus system opening, which is my own opening system with white, where we play the knight to d2 and we play this particular setup. If you want to learn more about this, you can always go to pegasuschess.com, my community and course platform, and there you can learn about this opening. But the opening is not the most important thing here. It's the strategy that I am going to teach you. We have to watch out here because black just took one of our pawns. We have to recapture. The rule in my opening is if the bishop has already moved, we are going to use this knight to recapture the pawn. That's why we have the knight there. And I'm just going to castle. I think my opponent is going to castle. Okay. And now we are in the middle game. And this is where we are going to start using this strategy. So the first thing that we need to do is always blunder prevention. The way that you prevent blunders is you look at the last move that your opponent just played and we try to figure out what they are doing. Well, they just castled, so we can already skip this step. We don't have to really do blunder prevention. They just castled. Then, when it's our turn to move, we are always going to go through the same framework. You need to write this down and look at this during your game so you can force yourself to do this. We are going to do CCTO, which stands for checks, captures, threats, optimization. And this is the order in which we need to consider different moves. And then when we find a move that's good, according to CCTO, we play it. And this will help us to find better moves quite easily. So do we have checks? Yes, we have checks. We have to calculate them, even if they look crazy. We have a check and that's it. There is no follow-up. There is no knight, queen, checkmate. No, there is no follow-up. So we have no good checks. Do we have captures? Well, that's also a capture, but we just looked at it. Okay. Do we have threats? What do I mean with a threat? A threat would mean threatening a piece that's undefended, threatening a high value piece with a lower value piece, or maybe threatening a checkmate. We don't have threats in this position. At least I don't see any threats. So then we have to optimize. And for the optimization step, it's important that we just play any move that improves our position, of which we are 100% sure it doesn't give away material. Blunder prevention is very important. And the way that I do this is I try to limit myself and restrict myself to barely moving any pawns. I try to just use my ED and C pawn basically. And for the rest, I will just be moving pieces because it's very hard to go wrong with that. What I will play here is pawn to e4. This optimizes. It gets the pawn to the center, gives us back control of a couple of key squares, and it also opens up a diagonal for the bishop. So this is a very good optimization move. And you literally have to do these two things over and over again, and you will see massive improvement. So first, we have to do blunder prevention. I call this sit on your hands. What does that mean? They just played the pawn here. We need to look at this. What would they do if they got another move and we didn't get to play? Well, of course, I hope everyone sees this. They would capture the knight for free. So this is a huge problem. We need to solve this. So I will move the knight. Blunder prevention comes first. They play a5. Again, what are they doing? Well, they are basically trying to expand on the queen side. Is this a threat that we need to deal with right now? Is this a problem? No. Okay, so sit on your hands is complete. We go to the next step, CCTO. We have no checks. We have a capture. That would give away a bishop. Do we have threats? Yes, we have threats. We could play the move pawn to e5. That's a threat. We are threatening to win the knight. The knight will probably move, but it also gives us an open diagonal towards the king that we can use. So CCT, check, capture, threat. We have a threat. Okay, they go here with the knight. All right, this is perfectly fine. They just play the move. Number one, sit on your hands. What's happening? Well, they have the knight here, and if we don't do anything, they might start jumping around to different squares. Plus, they also just have a very good knight in the center. Okay, do we have checks? Yes, this time we actually have a check. We can give away a bishop. There might in the future actually be a tactic there with maybe a Greek gift sacrifice and a checkmate, but not right here. Do we have captures? Yes, we can capture the knight. Is this a good capture? Well, we have to think, is this knight a useful piece for them? Yes. So since that knight is a useful piece for them, we are going to capture this because our knight was actually not that great. It was a little bit in the way of our bishop, and it was somewhat preventing our bishop from being active. Okay, so they just captured back. I don't really have to do a blunder check. This is doing nothing. So CCTO, checks, yes, but they don't work. We don't have to recalculate it. Captures, yes, we have a capture. We have a capture. That's a free pawn. Okay, we have a capture, we have a free pawn. And you might be thinking like, how is this possible? You are playing against the 2300 and they just gave you a free pawn. But believe me, if you do this strategy in your games, you will be surprised how many opponents, all the way at least up to 2000 rating, that just give you free material. All you have to do is not blunder first and keep your eyes open so you actually see it. Okay, they are now trying to trade bishops. That's perfectly fine with me. I mean, we are already up a pawn, so trading is okay. All right. Do we have checks? No. Captures? No. Threats? Yes, this is a threat. We are threatening to win a rook, and we are also optimizing a piece. And literally all you have to do in your games is this. Blunder prevention and CCTO. That means that you won't blunder, they will blunder at some point, you will see it because you are doing CCTO, and you will win the game. The only way that this can go wrong is if you forget to do the blunder prevention for a specific move, even if it's just one move, that can be the game, or if you don't do CCTO every move, because then you might miss their tactics. Okay, what are they doing? They put the rook here, they attack our bishop. Is this a problem? No, it's not a problem at all. So we do CCTO, no checks, no captures. Well, not really a threat, but we have an optimization move. This is optimization. Why? It gets the bishop to a better square, and it also opens this up, so we can start playing with our rooks. Okay. They just put the queen here, which that's clearly a problem, right? They are trying to attack this pawn. So we could be thinking about a move like pawn b3, which is actually what I'm going to play, because all we want to do is we want to play any simple move of which we are sure solves the problem and doesn't blunder us. Okay, it's very obvious right now that we are starting to get a problem, right? The opponent is doubling rooks on this file. We don't want to just let them do this. We have to challenge them. So what am I going to play? Rook to c1. And this move is also great because what I am basically doing right now is I am offering my opponent a lot of trades. We are going to be trading. And the great thing with trading is that we are already up a pawn. We are just up a full pawn. So why would we not want to trade? We are just going to get an endgame where we have an extra pawn, which should be an incredibly easy win. All we really need is one pawn and some endgame skills. So they play bishop here. Is that a problem? Not really. Everything is protected. Although we do have to watch out that maybe after some trades we might get in trouble, but I don't see much. So I am looking at trading. Trading the bishop doesn't work, right? We would lose the rook with a check. We really don't want that to happen. Taking the rook does work because, well, if they take the bishop, we take the queen. And if they take the rook, then I think we can just trade bishops. That queen check is not really a problem. We always have a couple of pieces that can go back to that square. So I am going to simply trade. Trading as our number one strategy as soon as we are up material. Okay, so this is really going perfectly so far. Perfect example of my strategy. We just won a single pawn. We are trading everything and we are going to try to win this endgame. What do we do here? Well, I hope you know what to do. CCTO. Check. Yes, doesn't work. Capture. No. Threat. Yes, this threatens to win a pawn. It threatens to win a pawn. And our opponent gives us a trade of queens. Okay. Do we want to trade queens? Well, of course we want to trade. I mean, every trade brings us closer to the endgame, which is an endgame where we are up a pawn. So that's the entire strategy. The only thing that we need to be very careful of if we decide to trade is that they have a passed pawn that's 2 squares away from promotion. So this might actually be a trap. They might be trapping us so that they can promote. Can we still stop this pawn? Well, yes, we can play 91. 91 stops this. And the only way that they would be able to achieve something is if they could get a knight here or there so that they can help push the pawn. But I hope that you can also see that we can always put the knight here, set up a blockade, protect everything, and there is no way for them to ever push that pawn. So basically, if we trade, which I will do, and I go back with the knight, and I play knight, oh, I have to watch out. I was going to say I play knight here, but they are trying to exchange. So always keep an eye on what's happening first. Otherwise, if I was a bit too quick, I will actually show you. If I was a bit too quick there, well, yeah, I would have lost a pawn and I would let them promote. So keep in mind, right, blunder prevention is important. Don't try to play too quickly like I was actually about to do. This is all fine. I will build this huge pawn pyramid, which is perfectly fine. I just don't want to lose my pawn in the center. I wanted to keep it exactly like this. Okay, now I can play knight c2. That makes it very easy. I mean, I don't have to worry anymore about losing by them pushing because this is blocked. And now we just have an endgame. Of course, you do need to have some endgame skills. If you don't have any endgame skills, go to pegasuschess.com and just take my endgame course. You will learn so much. So we are going to do endgame. What do we want to do in the endgame? Well, we just want to follow the main principles for endgame. The number one priority is king activity. That's exactly what I am doing here. I am actively using my king. I am trying to pick up this pawn because I know that as soon as I pick up this pawn, that means that my knight is active again. It's no longer a passive defender. It's active and I can start using it, especially if something happens on this side of the board. Now we really just have the simplest endgame strategy in existence. We have not one, but we have 2 passed pawns. When you have a passed pawn, you push it. And on the next move, you push it. And what are we going to do on the next move? Push it. That's just the rule for passed pawns. Passed pawns need to be pushed. Yeah, we don't push it here, right? If we push it here, they would take with the knight. So we push the other one. And literally, there is nothing that we need to... Okay, they are making this annoying. There is nothing that we need to do except pushing. Yes, now I will have to use my knight to make sure that I can push on the next move. And now I can push. So this is the easiest endgame strategy in existence. We just keep pushing the pawns. But of course, we also need to watch out that we don't lose the pawns. Because, for example, if I push this, they would grab that pawn for free. If I push this, they would grab that pawn for free. So basically, they always grab a pawn for free. We can follow up with more pushes, but they always get to maneuver the knight. So currently, we are stuck. We cannot immediately push. That's not really a problem. I will move my knight so I can protect this. And then I was thinking about getting my king closer. But I feel like this move that they just made is terrible because they just released control of this square. So we can push. And the only thing that they can do to prevent us from promotion is putting the knight in the corner, of course, because if they go back to where they came from, we make a queen. So they have to put the knight in the corner. Yes, we still cannot push, but patience. Patience is key in the endgame. We are just going to activate our king, activate the king, and then we are going to push. Of course, my opponent could have already gone after this pawn, try to promote there as well. But it's such a slow strategy. It takes them probably 10 moves, and I can always just sack my knight somewhere for that pawn. So it doesn't really work for them. We have b6. Okay, they sack the knight. This is fine. And then we can simply promote. These endgames, like literally, I even promote here. I give away that knight, I don't care. And then what I would recommend is to really just take away all of the counterplay they might have, which to me that means we just want to grab all of the pawns, even if it means that we give away a couple of pawns, like I am doing here. We just want to grab every pawn that they have, because then they won't have any way to put up counterplay. Now, since they have a passed pawn, the best thing we can do is put the queen in front of the pawn. That way it cannot promote. And here we can just literally bring the king closer. Bring the king closer. We will be picking up this pawn. And I hope that you know how to win this endgame, because you have an extra queen. And if you really wanted to, you could even make an extra queen or make a rook and then do a ladder checkmate. So really try out this strategy. If you want to learn more, go to pegasuschess.com, and I hope to see you in the next video.